Now then, people, good afternoon and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I'm joined by Matty. There will be some more people joining us very, very shortly as well. Let me just change the background. That is 90 minutes of my life that I will not get back. An absolute snooze fest. I got shouted at, Matty, for yawning. What did they expect? That was bad, wasn't it? Rubbish.
Really bad, mate. Yeah, just Bristol started off the better side and then we controlled it, but we did nothing with it. It's all right having ball, isn't it, pal? If you're not creating many good chances to score, I think none should have had one. But outside that, it was very plain Jane today, lad.
Yeah, not great. There was a few chances. Look, we can go through it, and there's a chance for James. There's a chance for Nonto. Jack, are you good, mate? Can you hear me? It wasn't great, was it? Quite boring today, bro. It felt like a lot of performances we've seen last season. A bit pedestrian, a bit left to right. We just couldn't get any decent chances, really.
Yeah, it was a frustrating watch, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
I thought first 20 minutes, I actually thought they were pretty decent. To be fair, I thought they came out of blocks quite well. They sort of did a bit of an us, didn't they? They put it in behind a few times, and I felt like we looked a bit. I don't like saying it, but I felt like we looked a bit leggy, and particularly like Byron's not had a lot of minutes. Obviously, James is coming back, and then Solomon were coming on, and it's like not everybody's sort of bang at it, are they? So,
you could see that with James. I felt James was not...
when he set off for that break, he got a bit of stick on Twitter for that, didn't he? Just saying he's maybe not fast, but I think we all know he's rapid, isn't he? But I just genuinely think it's 100% he's not in really. Because if he does break away, then he gives it to Nonto. The terrible time, doesn't he? There, I don't know why.
Worst time possible, man.
He's just panicked, I think, and he's bottled it and just thought, get rid of this ball. Nonto, do you want to do something with it? Do you mind having a go? Yeah. So it was just frustrating, really. But
and do you know what? I was begging. Even at half time, I was begging for Joseph to come on, but even Joseph weren't great when he came on. But
it done flat by then.
Yeah, you're right. But Pirro was lost today, wasn't he?
Non-existent,
man.
It really was.
Yeah, he did nothing, did he, Mike? It wasn't great today.
No, yeah. You know what it is with Pirro? I feel like we see the best of him when he comes off the bench. When the game's a bit more stretched. I feel like the last few games we started, if you don't start the game well, he tends to not really improve throughout the game. And I know there's always that chance he'll put one away, but sometimes you get a feeling it's just not going to happen, and you could see that quite early on today. And for me, they could have subbed Joseph on after half an hour. Do you know what I mean? I just didn't feel like it would ever going to happen for Pirro today, and that's no criticism just on him. I just feel like he can't get in certain games, and that was one
struggles to get in once he's not in.
And I just don't think he would ever going to get in that one today, Joe.
Isn't that every striker we've got though? I just feel like it seems to happen to every single one we have. I appreciate you can sort of see it with Peru, and his touch becomes really heavy, and he looks a bit like clunky, doesn't he? But it seems to be a theme. Whoever's up top on their own, they seem to be like isolated.
Yeah. No, you make a great point.
First half, you do sort of know that that's where we're going, really.
Yeah. I think you make a great point, mate, because I genuinely thought Joseph would do it, and Joseph did nothing either when he came on, if I'm being totally honest. He had that chance straight away almost, and then when that goes miles over, I'm thinking, right, okay. And then towards the end, it was just a case of just fucking end this game because it's going nowhere. Do you know what I mean? What do you make to it, Paul, having just joined us, pal?
Have we played a game today?
Boring, wasn't it? Boring.
It was terrible. I don't know why we just couldn't seem to get anything going. The only kind of decent thing to report really out of the game was how good the defense was. I thought the defense was spot on. I thought whatever was thrown at Struijk, he dealt with. 100% dealt with. He dealt with that absolute hulk of a person that came on. And he dealt with him. Then he dealt with the 6'4" striker that came on. And just for me, for that, I can get with that. That's fine. So we don't concede again. That's good. Where I have my issue with is bar a shot in the first half. Nonto wasn't very good today. I don't think Aronson was brilliant today. I don't think James was probably the better out of all of them for me. And that's not saying that they're crap or anything like that. It didn't click properly for me. Pirro had a couple of good touches in the first half, spinning the ball around and stuff, but in terms of his general all-round hold-up play, I don't think it was anything to write home about. Solomon, when he came on, looked a little bit disinterested, if I'm honest. But I'm not. But that's not me throwing that he doesn't care. I don't know. It's
just off it, mate. He's just off it. I think you can tell. You know, people said it.
That's like that. Then you struggle a bit. I thought Rothwell and Tanaka were okay, but the problem that we had, there was nobody moving around. Countless times, Byron was like, "Somebody move, somebody get into some space," and it was a lot of. And again, you have to give Bristol City a bit of credit. They packed out that midfield, absolutely packed out that midfield. And from about, I'd probably say 54 minutes onwards, they weren't looking to win the game. They were looking to make sure that they didn't lose it first more than anything. So, yeah, frustrating, annoying, but we take a point, we move on.
Yeah. There's a few. Look, we did miss Firpo. I think that's clear to see because Byram always has to check back in on his right, etc. And we're used to Firpo getting down and to the touchline and getting cutbacks. We miss Ramazani, of course, because you can tell from both players that were brought in, i.e. James and also Solomon, they're not up to speed yet. They're definitely not up to speed. That you can see that. So we lose that. Nonto out on the left, that everyone says it's his best position. I think flattered to deceive. I think, look, for me, the ones that impressed me today, I don't know about you, but I thought Aronson off the ball was really good. Counter press and pressing. I thought he was really good, Matty Aronson, today.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get from him, don't you? You know, even if he's not having the best game, when he's got the ball in his possession, he'll always close those spaces, win that ball high up. And for me, he's definitely made that 10 his own. Like I say, he splits fan base a little bit still to a degree. I don't think he's going to get 15, 20 G&A this season, but what he gives is it's a lot different to, profile of other players we've got. You can have a technically gifted tenor, you can have someone who'll work his socks off. And for me, I thought he did that tonight. I thought he was one of the players who can hold their head up high after that performance.
Yeah. Any thoughts, lads?
I thought Rothwell were trying to get.
Rothwell was good as well.
He seems to be. What frustrates me a little bit with him, because sometimes you can go on about Farke or go on about substitutions or whatever, whoever comes on, whatever. But at some point, you do have to just sort of say, like, somebody get hold of the game a bit. Like, collectively, you can see that Rothwell's like, at least trying to move us. I know then he had a massive swipe at the ball, not on about round edge at box, just putting ball down, taking a quick free kick. Like, let's get going. Let's put a bit of energy into the side, because they'd gone, and not physically Bristol, but they're like we said, after 70 minutes, didn't really want to even win the game. So it was just like, let's see if there's all left in them, wake the game up a little bit. And a lot of these players, I'd take real issue with playing and then thinking that, that I don't know how many seasons some of these players think they've got in situations like this. Do you know what I mean? Rothwell looks like he's actually playing for a club. Do you know what I mean? He's looking to make a statement in and of himself. He's been a non-starter for us. At least, do you know what I mean? Just add a bit of like Aronson does that. I feel like Aronson's doing that.
And Bogle did today as well. A few people. I thought he tried to get down the right. He was trying to come on, let's go.
Just add a bit. Just give something. Do you know what I mean? It's only a bit of energy needed.
Yeah.
And if it don't come off, it don't come off. It wasn't a terrible performance. It wasn't wasn't horrendous. It didn't click, but I don't think you can just sort of sign off at that point and just go, well, it's not quite happening, so we'll just leave it at that. I don't know. I just think there's more to give than just technical ability, really. I just think you can give a bit more.
That extra, 5-10%. I agree with you, mate. I think I do, because someone mentioned it in the comments, and it's easier for us to gloss over it. But I thought Melier, when called upon, I thought was really good today. Like he caught a lot of things. He dealt with pressure in his box at times, which is something we do need to give him praise for after what happened at Sunderland. So I think that's I know it's his job and all that shit to coin a phrase, but. We need him to be on it. Jay, you're joining us from the kitchen there, mate. How's things? I haven't seen you. Yeah.
I've got exactly. So I'm just like, it is what it is.
I think you're losing it, bro. Just get rid of it, pal.
I'm not sure about that, mate. There's plenty there for me. Plenty
well,
there.
hi, but the fringe is like back here, not there. You know what I mean?
It's been like that for a long time. I'm not worrying about all like that. If you saw Ed's at Rest at Menin family, you'd be really pleased to have what I've got.
Oh, good man. Talk to me, Jay. How did you see the game, pal?
Through gritted teeth, mostly, mate. I were absolutely fuming for the most part. It were probably the worst example of a Farke game that you can get. It had everything negative that Farke does. And I'm not saying this in like, oh, Farke out way. I'm not one of them. I like what he does for the most part, but that game seemed to be all the negative elements put together and not much of the positive. I think there were 4 players that came out of that with any credit for me. I think it was Struijk, Meslier, Byram, and Tanaka. And I don't think anybody else really did anything of note. I thought Solomon was very disappointing when he came on. Nothing that he did worked. And there were so many times we went backwards and so many times Bogle out on the right wing. There were one as well where Bogle got the ball and Willie sets off on a run. Space in front of him. He's away from his man and he comes back inside. He don't play it. And then when we did try to play balls, they just were nothing balls to nowhere. And it was just a frustrating game. Nothing worked.
Yeah, it was.
So why is that on Farke then? Do you know what I mean? If you've gone through the side and you can only, I'm not calling you out, big lad, by the way.
No, that's fair.
If there's only 4 players and one of them's keeper and one of them's centre back and one of them left back, that's all defensive, really, isn't it? That's not a Farke issue, is it? That's not the negatives of Farke. That's the players not performing.
So the way I see it is all the going backwards is a tactical thing. The amount of times that we chose to come back inside instead of using the right wing, the amount of time that we spent going down the left wing, for me, that's all tactical. I mean, you're welcome to disagree. It's a game about opinions.
I don't necessarily disagree.
That's how I see it.
I think Farke plays a certain type of football, yeah, but he also wins us a lot of games. We have been a lot more attacking with Tanaka and Rothwell in middle.
I was just going to say, because
the players will bang at it.
Yeah, and I said that on the watch along in terms of if this was, and I did make this point, if this was a midfield pairing of Gruev and Ampadu, they'd be getting crucified. And the man, come on, you need to. And we saw today with a more expansive midfield, we had the same issues. And I just think sometimes when we're not we're not moving it quick enough and players are having off games like your forward players, sometimes it just doesn't click, and it was one of them. And I guess the most important thing or the positive thing we can take from it is we didn't lose. We got a clean sheet. We move on. We got Plymouth at home, win that game. Do you know what I mean? I think sometimes, look, we can't win them all, unfortunately. I wish we could, but yeah, it's a point.
I feel like it was a somber mood to start with, you know, with everything that happened pre-match. And I feel like, I don't know, with it being an half-12 kickoff and being in Bristol, the atmosphere of the stadium was awful. It was just so flat. And that just filtered onto the pitch. And I feel like what you saw on the pitch or what you saw in the stands. And I don't know if that was the early kickoff or if that was what happened before the game and obviously what's happened recently at Bristol. But it was just very somber mood and it didn't really pick up. You know, we all chat, don't we, in chats, and we're all gearing up for a game, and I just feel like the players didn't have that energy from you know, kick off.
Do you think he should have made changes, Matty? Because we saw the same starting lineup, and I know it's easy after the fact, but Jack made a great point earlier about we looked a little bit off the pace. We waited till the 70th minute again, which we've already spoken about. I'd have changed Pirro at half time personally, because he was just non-existent. So is there a case of could he have used more players? You know, could he have brought even? I know it's easy now because I didn't want to see him at the time, but there's Gelhardt on there. You know, there's Gillivoga, there's other players. Yeah. There's Schmidt, for example.
Yeah, I'd have liked to have seen Schmidt come on. You know.
Because it'd give us energy, wouldn't he, down the left-hand side?
100%. Sure. You know, Byron's going to do your job more defensively than going forward. And when we're pushing for, you know, a winner at 0-0, I don't see why you wouldn't make that sub. You know, hindsight's a good thing. And I look at it now and I think if we'd have known, Dan James give it his all, but then he were always going to run tired. He was going to run himself tired. You know, he's not match sharp. So if we'd have known what we know now, I think it would have been better to start with Solomon and James come on for that last half hour. I think that would have been a better impact off the bench than what Solomon showed. But I was buzzing to see James start, so I can't really go back on my word. But I think this was one of the games where, you know, maybe even a double sub at half time, no one would have complained at that.
No.
He kept him late. It's like we've gone back 5 or 6 weeks today. You know, the way we played, the tempo were low, the subs were late. It reminded me of what we were doing when Ampadu and grew over there. So, like I say, it's not the world's worst performance. It's a point up road. You get a point away from home when you win your own games, which we're doing now. You know, you will go up. It's not, you know, throw the baby out of the bathwater like you tend to say, Joe, but it is very disappointing. 12:30 on a Saturday, you're getting geared up for it all week, and then it's just flat. It's not the end of the world. It's just flat.
Yeah,
I'm just sick and tired of our kickoff times being changed. Not that that affects me.
Yeah,
it's just can we just have a 3 p.m. kickoff, please? It's so frustrating because it's, you know, the fans have to get up at ridiculous hours to go down and get down there, and like, you know, like we've all just been saying, the atmosphere was really weird today, like really, really weird. And, you know, I don't know if that's to do with Liam Manning and obviously the tragedies that have occurred to him, but just a weird atmosphere overall. Just there wasn't any kind of, just weird is all I can say, really. Just strange.
Lunchtimes are always like that, aren't they? Because the people that have managed to have a drink have set off at like 5 a.m. and they're knackered by that point, and they're kind of in that lull where you're starting to get an headache after too many beers too early. And then those that aren't pissed, can't be bothered, they're probably knackered too. And it's just flat when you've gone all that way as well, because most people will have gone this morning. They won't have stayed over, they'll have gone this morning. And I tell you what, I'm glad I didn't travel all that way to watch that.
And you know what as well, like obviously you can see comments coming in now. Tim says you can't seriously fancy us top 2 after that. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, again, baby out with the bathwater. Look,
it's just
Bristol City defended well. It's one game. We didn't do enough to win. We had a couple of chances. We got a clean sheet. That's 7 points from 9. We've got Plymouth next. Like, let's not do this. This is what's really frustrating, I think, for me anyway, when I see stuff like that, because it's like, what? Like, calm down. Yeah, we haven't lost. We've got a clean sheet. No one was at the races. You chalk it off. If that becomes regular occurrence over 2, 3, 4 games, then fair dues, we can have a chat. But it's one game, you know, it's one game. And do I fully expect us to beat Plymouth at home next Saturday? Yes, you know, and then it'll be, we've dropped 2 points in 4 games. That's a very good return, man. So, let's not do that, I think. But listen, everyone entitled to their opinion, but it was just a bit shit. But that's all it was, you know, and we haven't lost.
The worst we're going to end up today is 3rd.
Yeah,
exactly. It's not the end of the world, is it? It was just a shit game.
Yeah, it was.
It's our fault. It's shit. This is kind of what I mean. We want at it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so you can sort of take it and just think, well, it's a point, and we were shit. It's not that, you know, like, because otherwise the alternative is we're normally shit, and then you're quite happy with point, aren't you? But we are becoming more and more like, you know, wanting the 3 points every game, which we need to be. We need to be bang at it. Obviously, we need to be going up. But we're going up. It might be a bit boring a long way, that's all.
Yeah.
You're not going to win every game at the end of the day, and we didn't lose.
The decent Bristol, really.
Bristol haven't lost at home yet this season. And I'm not trying to... They are. They're very well organised. You can see that. Yeah. That's, you know, there's a reason that they haven't lost at home so far all this season. You could see it in the way that they set up. It was, I couldn't work out if it was 3-4-3 or how they were doing it, or 2-5-3 or which bit, but they packed out the midfield to make it really difficult for us to break through. Should we be breaking through that? Yeah, we should be finding a way to do it, but it was just a poor performance today.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you guys think there's any chance of that the players are sort of buying into all the hype because every single media outlet is declaring it's over already and Leeds are going to win the league? And
well, they best not,
because complacent at all.
This was my point after Watford, was like, this now takes a different kind of mentality, because as a fan and as people on the outside, you expect Leeds United, like if you were to ask anyone what's happened today, regardless of result, Leeds have dropped 2 points. That's how everyone will see it, right? So it does take a different kind of mentality. Like against Plymouth, for example, next Saturday, everyone, I'll be saying we're going to beat them 3 or 4, is what it is. But they've got to then go and do that, you know, and it does take a different kind of mentality when you are, you know, expected. And it's hard to get up to the games as well, right? You've come off of Watford, you've come off of who were very physical. And I do think now, with hindsight, changes should have been sooner. Should the lineup been changed beforehand? Maybe, but it's all easy with hindsight.
Do you think, lads, it highlights how good Junior Firpo is for us? You know, when you look at, I know that the players are capable, and you know that team's capable of winning regardless of Firpo playing. But here he is, senior Firpo, just in time.
Mate, what a time, mate! You speak of Firpo when I appear. What can I say?
But when you look at it, you know, you always think your main man might be an Nonto, Ramazani, someone like that, who might get you a goal. But really, when you look at the last month or so, Junior Firpo for me has been the main man. You know, I know he's playing left back, but he's really been
assist machine
consistently. And him not being playing today, we all knew Biden, like I said earlier, would fill in and do a job. But it just goes to show how much you lack, because he just drives it ball, does Firpo, and he's always giving that overlap. And for me, this season we attack from all areas. Not today. I feel like today there were areas at pitch where we didn't look threatening, and I feel like that were definitely evident on that left side for me.
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to agree with you. And listen, I don't mind Byram starting. I think I think he's good. He's dependable. But
he's solid.
He played some good
not
balls
Firpo, is he?
No,
you know what I mean. He's not.
But,
but he did. You're right. He created a chance for Bogle, which Bogle should hit the target.
Byram was getting frustrated today as well. You could see how frustrated he was getting, and he got frustrated with Solomon towards the end, because he wanted Solomon to spin and run, and he didn't. Yeah. He didn't spin and run, and you could tell it was just getting on his nerves.
Yeah. And there was the one for Joseph that he probably should score as well. I know he's just come off the pitch, but if he wants to get that position back off Pirro, he's got to score. JT, you've just joined us, mate. What are your thoughts, bro?
Well, what did I say last week, mate? Oh, he's gone already, mate. The second he throws the mic to me, he's out of
No, I'm still here, bro. Sorry.
I don't want to hear it.
I'm joking.
Apologies.
No,
I'm here. I am here.
I'm joking. No. Listen, he's gone again. No, I said last week was flatter than what a bottle of Coke you left out on the week for a couple of, or left on the side of the counter for a couple of weeks. This was like a bottle of Coke you left on the side of the counter for a couple of months. There was really not a lot of life to this game at all. I mean, first 10 minutes or so, Bristol City were kind of putting us under the cosh. They almost got a goal early on, straight through the middle. I don't know what the hell our midfield and defense are doing, parted like Moses in the Red Sea. Byram, actually, to his credit, made a great last-ditch challenge there to stop them from going one-on-one. And I actually think defensively, when he was called on Byram, he did do very well. But as he said, we were lacking that natural width down the left-hand side that we get from a Firpo, from a senior Firpo driving us out there. So as a result, I feel like everything was kind of forced across to the right-hand side a little bit more than it needed to be. And it made it a bit predictable at times. But I do have to say, on the right-hand side, Dan James, absolutely phenomenal, mouth-watering, scintillating performance. The runs he was making behind, I don't know why you're putting your eyes out there. My man of the match for sure. Dan James, listen, mate, you can gouge your eyes out all you want. If this is boggling your mind, I don't know, because Jaden Bogle as well, I thought was linking up very well with him. Every single chance Dan James got to make a run down that right-hand side and put pressure on the defense, he was doing it. He was making runs in behind the entire game. And I thought when he did get the opportunity down there, he delivered well. Look at that great ball from Bogle. The chance that we should have scored from Nonto, it all came from a great storming run from Bogle down the right-hand side. The run timed so well from Dan James, that Rolexer on the blower, giving him a sponsorship deal. And then he cuts the ball across. He's not selfish. He sees the space there, cuts it back to Nonto. And unfortunately, listen, when you get that chance, Nonto, you're going across goal like that. Defenders are coming back across goal, yeah? You have to lift it, because when defenders are coming back across to meet you and you're hitting it from the reverse direction like that, they're always going to be able to kind of dangle a leg out and block it a bit. So you have to lift that shot a little bit. Unfortunately, he's gone low and the defender's able to stick his leg out and block it. But listen, I thought really at times it was a bit lethargic and predictable. And I did say last week, and I did say against Sheffield United, there are going to be bigger tests. And I know a lot of the times you're saying, listen, we kind of did all right against the bigger teams. Now we've got easier games coming up. But unfortunately with Leeds, you see at times, especially like this, we tend to play to the level of our opponents a little bit. When we're playing against some of these worst teams, we don't really show the golfing quality that we do or should have. We tend to kind of lower our performances down to their level. And unfortunately, again, today was one of those performances, which is why I said things like the substitutions, where you're saying in hindsight, maybe we could have made these substitutions earlier. This ain't hindsight, mate. We said it last week. We said it 2 weeks ago. We said it 3 weeks ago. We said it 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks. We said it every single game. So there's no hindsight about making these changes earlier. We have been saying it for weeks and months that he needs to make these changes earlier. So just because it works occasionally and we're getting away with it in games does not mean that these issues do not need to be addressed and spoken about earlier. And it does, because unfortunately your luck and these certain things will run out a little bit. And listen, our win streak that everyone was talking about we're going to go on is now over. And now we have to pick ourselves back up. Are we in the worst position possible? No, but it just kills our momentum. It's a momentum killer. That's what today is.
I think that's fair. You made many good points apart from Dan James being absolutely scintillating.
You didn't like Dan James, mate?
No.
I want to hear what your opinions were on Dan James.
You shouldn't watch it with someone else's glasses on, mate, because you don't see properly. It's wrong prescription.
I thought Dan James was good, man. I actually really thought Dan James was good, man.
No, I thought
it was clear that he wasn't fully fit. I think there's a chance looking at how sort of Solomon played as well, because he's more like Hollow Man or Holographic Man. But it was like he didn't start because he played too many minutes last time. And having seen how he was when he did come on, I don't think he was actually fit enough to play at all. I think he came on because he had to. Basically, because there were no way that DJ could play the whole game.
Yeah, I think for me, I liked Harrington's performance off the ball. I thought defensively we were good. I thought Bogle going forward, Melier was good. But it was all very much like we tried FC. I thought today it wasn't, nothing really came off for Leeds. Pirro was non-existent, obviously. But then Joseph didn't do much when he came on. But if you want my honest opinion, I know we only saw him for a couple of minutes, but Bamford was so active in the short space that when he did come on, he was here, he was pointing, he was getting frustrated.
I like what you're saying, Joe. I like the direction you're going here, mate.
Is that door ajar for him now, then? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't think we've seen enough of him, mate. But he was a lot more active than the other two. I can't lie. But then I also feel harsh on Joseph because he didn't get enough time. He should have been on earlier, if I'm honest. And JT is right to mention the subs because I think we all could have said that we could have changed Pirro at half time because he just didn't do nothing at all. And but again. It is what it is. I don't think there's much more we can say. It was a pretty poor performance, so I don't want to just drag it out for the sake of dragging it out, folks, because, again, it'll just be like that performance today, you know what I mean? We were just going through the motions. Does anyone have any burning desires before we do split?
Have you still got Turtle's head?
Yeah.
You can tell he's
Did you see my response to that, what the Neptune's kiss means?
I do now. Yeah. Let's keep it away from toilet talk while we're on, though, if we can.
Jesus Christ.
Do we expect Byram to start right back there against Plymouth? Now Bogle's out. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Go from left to right. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Schmidt will probably start now as well.
Firpo's back, isn't it?
Firpo's back.
Yeah, Firpo's back.
Yeah, so sort of Schmidt on the right-hand side.
He will, though. And the fact that Schmidt hasn't come on today tells you all you need to know. Yeah. We're not seeing what's going on behind the scenes, though. We don't know. He's played 10 minutes. Listen, I'd love to see Schmidt. I'm not against him. But my point is,
mate.
No, definitely not. He's not playing him. He's not playing him. So there's clearly something amiss there. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I think we'll leave it there, like I say, because there's nothing more we can talk about. 2 points drop, Pete, definitely. But listen, we've got Plymouth at home next Saturday. If we were away, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But at home, we should have more than enough for Wayne Rooney's Plymouth. But make sure you check out all these channels out. Final word will be tomorrow. Thanks for these lads giving up the Saturday afternoon as well, especially after watching that. And we'll see you in a bit. Peace out, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.